What up, y'all? Today's video is gonna be about a tweet that I made. And the tweet that I made was, y'all not tired of forcing these kids to hug these unfamiliar or flat out creepy aunts and uncles yet? So I've gotten so many responses, so many people telling me their stories about creepy aunts and uncles and gender disparity and how we force little girls to hug all sorts of people, all sorts of men and women. And just like a real violation of people's boundaries, children's boundaries, and children's consent. So this video is really going to be about consent today. Consent is a lot more than a person just saying no. Consent is also body language, and it's also about positionality in terms of like power. So for example, when you're in a position of power over someone, for example, if you're a boss or a manager, and you make sexual advances on somebody who works for you, they are not in a position of power to say no. So not to say that they can't say no, right? But they are not on the same level as you are. So if they were to say no, they could very well be reprimanded. They could very well be given less hours or demoted for some other reason or whatever. When you talk about consent, it has to be with two consenting adults on the same level. Things like race impact this, things like gender impact this, and I always talk to my male friends and my friends in masculine bodies and talk about, like, you know, how big we are, bro, and like how scary we are, and we don't always know that, because I know for me, a lot of times I still feel like a 10-year-old boy. So however I was viewed in junior high school, a lot of times that's how I feel as a 30-year-old man. But I'm in a body that's not how it was when I was 10 anymore. And so I might not see myself as scary, but I am big, I have muscles, and I am a man. Outside of like just like my physicality, there's also laws. There's also not believing women and thinking that they are doing things for attention. Even with the whole Me Too movement, when a lot of men hear about it, they like roll their eyes or they get like, oh yeah, this again. And it's like, this is a real thing. It's well documented, and even if it wasn't, it's important to listen to people and believe them and their experiences and their traumas. So I wanted to talk more about consent as well. So when people say no, it's not an opportunity for you to try and convince them to say yes. You want to be with somebody who is excited to be with you sexually, romantically. I want to be with somebody who is just excited as I am to be with them, as they are to be with me. I want it to be reciprocal. And you know, gender is such a weird thing. It conditions women and people in feminine bodies to not be comfortable all the time with expressing their sexuality, though there are many, many exceptions. But regardless of all of that, it is not your job as a man, or it is not your job as a person in a masculine body to inflict your will upon someone else sexually. It's not your job to convince other people to be sexual with you. I think that this culture prioritizes sex with women for men as like the end-all be-all. We are not men until we've had sex with women. We are not real men until we have multiple sexual partners and see women as trophies. And you're a better man or a cooler man if you have had multiple sex partners who are women. And that is what rape culture looks like. That is really dangerous because it dehumanizes women and people in feminine bodies. It dehumanizes them and turns them into trophy pieces. And that is not okay. It is about time that this culture shifted away from all of that. And this stuff starts when you're young. It starts with kids and like respecting kids' boundaries and autonomy. Yeah, they're children. Yeah, they might be your children, you birthed them or you adopted them or you foster them, but they are still human beings. They still have a say. They should still have a say, especially over their body. And what you do when you tell kids to hug people and force kids to hug and kiss people is you let them know that how they feel is not that important. It's much more important to be polite. It's much more important to prioritize somebody else's feelings over how they feel about their bodies and themselves. And some of you might not be able to make that connection, but this stuff starts really early. And based off of the responses that I've gotten from this tweet, this is not a reach. This is not a reach. This is like part of this culture and this society. So I urge all of you, if you don't know where to start in terms of rape culture, ending rape culture, this is a great place to start. Honoring children, honoring their boundaries, telling them that they have boundaries that matter and are important. Okay, till next time.